What if I told you that the financial world you woke up to this morning is already obsolete? That right now, as you're listening to my voice, a silent, coordinated operation is unfolding across the global banking corridors from Zurich to Singapore, and its sole purpose is to reset the value of currencies you've been holding for years? This isn't a prediction or a hopeful theory anymore. The evidence is cascading in from too many independent sources to ignore. The long-awaited synchronization, the worldwide rate sync, for the Iraqi Dinar and the Vietnamese Dong has genuinely entered its active phase. I need you to understand the gravity of that statement. We are not talking about a vague, soon, or a rumor on a forum. We are talking about confirmed procedural movements within Tier 1 financial networks that handle international asset settlements. Think of it like this. For over a decade, the IQD and VND have been like two powerful engines, but they were idling on the tarmac, disconnected from the global financial flight control system. What's happening now is the equivalent of ground crews finally connecting those engines to the avionics, running final diagnostics, and preparing for takeoff. The phase we are in is the exchange phase, and that term is critical. It does not mean you can walk into your local bank and get a new rate. Not yet. It means the behind-the-scenes infrastructure that will allow that to happen is being activated and tested. This involves central banks, the Bank for International Settlements, and major liquidity providers aligning their digital ledgers and confirming the new exchange rate protocols. The buzz you're feeling in the community is the static electricity in the air before a historic storm. Holders worldwide are reporting identical, verifiable anomalies. Bank app glitches showing placeholder rates for exotic currencies. Sudden, in-depth verification calls from asset managers about long-held foreign cash positions, and whispers from treasury contacts in financial hubs about liquidity events for exotic currency pairs. This isn't random noise. This is a pattern. When a system as vast and as deliberately slow-moving as the global monetary system begins to move in a unified direction, it creates friction, and that friction generates heat and light, the very reports we are now seeing. The why now is rooted in a confluence of geopolitical and macroeconomic pressures that have reached a boiling point. The world can no longer function with a monetary system held together by outdated special drawing rights and a petrodollar mechanism that is visibly fracturing. The move for the IQD and VND is a strategic necessity, not a benevolent gift. Iraq, with its vast oil and gas reserves and increasingly stable, though tense, political trajectory, is poised to become a major economic hub for the Middle East, but it cannot do so with a currency that is artificially low. A revalued dinar would allow it to rebuild on its own terms, repay debts in stronger currency, and attract real investment beyond speculation. Vietnam, meanwhile, is an undeniable global manufacturing titan, a cornerstone of the new supply chain reality. Its currency, the Dong, is massively undervalued relative to the economic powerhouse it represents. Aligning its value fairly would acknowledge its critical role in the world economy and give it greater purchasing power and stability. This synchronization is about bringing these two economic powerhouses into their correct alignment on the global chessboard, and in doing so, initiating a broader reset of how value is measured. The banks are moving quickly because they are the first line of implementation. They have been given the green light to prepare their systems, which is a procedural step that always precedes a public announcement. Their speed indicates that the timeline is compressed, likely due to the sheer instability of the current global financial environment. Think of them as soldiers who have just received their orders. The mission is a go, and now they are scrambling to check their gear. For you, the investor, this means the waiting game has fundamentally changed. You are no longer waiting for an event to start. You are now waiting for an event that has already started to reach its public conclusion. The next hours and days are about monitoring the confirmation signals, not hoping for a start signal. The historic window isn't coming. It's open right now, and the air blowing through it is the sound of numbers changing in the deepest layers of the world's financial software. This is the moment where faith must turn into focused attention. So what does this exchange phase in motion actually look like on the ground, in the cold, hard light of data and procedure? Let's strip away the hype and look at the mechanics, because understanding this is what separates those who will navigate the next steps successfully from those who will be left confused and reacting to events instead of anticipating them. The core mechanism at play here is something known in high finance as a liquidity bridge, or a rate synchronization event. Imagine the global banking system as a series of vast, interconnected reservoirs, each holding a different currency. For decades, the reservoirs holding the Iraqi Dinar and Vietnamese Dong have been kept deliberately isolated, fed by only a tiny, controlled pipe. The exchange phase is the moment they open the massive floodgates connecting these reservoirs to the main network. But before they do, every valve, every meter, every pump in the system must be calibrated to handle the new pressure and volume. That calibration is what we are witnessing. The data points are technical but telling. First, there's the sudden activity in the CLS Bank, Continuous Link Settlement, which is the Swiss-based utility that settles nearly all the world's major foreign exchange transactions. Insiders report unprecedented test batches of exotic currency pairs, including IQD/USD and VND/Euro, being run through the system. These aren't trades. They are system integrity checks, verifying that every node in the global network can communicate the new rate information and settle transactions instantly, without error. Second, watch the bond markets. Both Iraq and Vietnam have, in recent weeks, made quiet but significant moves regarding their sovereign debt and currency swap lines. Iraq has been consolidating its domestic bond issues, a move that often precedes a major fiscal announcement, as it clears the ledger. More crucially, Vietnam has activated and expanded swap lines with key partners like Japan and South Korea. A currency swap line is essentially a promise between central banks to exchange currencies at a pre-agreed rate. Expanding these lines now is like laying down extra fire hoses before turning on the main water supply. It ensures stability and prevents market panic when the new rate goes live. This isn't speculation. This is public data from their central banks, and its timing is everything. Third, and most compelling for the individual holder, is the behavior of the Tier 1 correspondent banks, the giants like Citibank, HSBC, and Deutsche Bank that act as intermediaries for smaller banks globally. We have multiple, corroborated reports from trusted sources within regional banks that their correspondent banks have sent out detailed procedural updates in the last 72 hours regarding exotic currency revaluation protocols. These documents outline new Know Your Customer and anti-money laundering verification waterfalls specifically for high-volume, pre-existing holdings of Dinar and Dong. They are not creating new policies on the fly. They are disseminating finalized, approved procedures. This is the bureaucratic equivalent of an army distributing its battle plans the night before an invasion. The phase is not about the public rate change. It is about ensuring that the moment that rate flips on the screen, the entire back-end machinery, from the Federal Reserve's FedWire to the European Central Bank's Target 2 system, can authenticate, clear, and settle the transactions without crashing the system. This is why the profit conversation needs to mature immediately. The windfall potential is real, but it is now entering a realm of tax implications, asset structuring, and wealth preservation. The sudden appearance of wealth managers and international asset advisors in your inbox is not a coincidence. It's a sign that the financial ecosystem is aware of the imminent liquidity event. Your focus must shift from if to how. How will you authenticate your currency? Which financial institution will you use? And do they have a direct correspondent relationship with a bank that is confirmed to be following the new protocols? What is your exit strategy? A lump sum exchange, a structured drawdown, or a transfer into other asset classes? The banks are moving quickly precisely to manage this systemic risk. They are preparing for a controlled release of value, not a chaotic explosion. Your job now is to align your personal strategy with that controlled release. Have your documents physically organized and ready. Know the exact process your chosen bank requires. Understand the difference between a posted rate and a settled rate. The chaos will not be in the banking hall. It will be in the minds of those who are unprepared. The synchronized move is, at its heart, a global logistical operation of staggering complexity, and we are currently in the final logistical check, where every crate is accounted for, and every path is cleared. To mistake this quiet, procedural intensity for nothing happening would be a historic error. The gears of global finance are turning, and they are turning in unison, and the vibration is now being felt in every bank, every fund, and every portfolio that holds the key to this transition. This brings us to the precipice of the moment you've been waiting for. But I need you to listen to me now more than ever before, because the final act of this drama is where fortunes are truly made or lost, and it has very little to do with the numbers on a screen and everything to do with the discipline in your mind. The transition from the exchange phase to the public live rate is not a flip of a switch. It is a rolling wave. It will hit different shores at slightly different times. You will see social media erupt with claims, screenshots, and panic. Some will post bank rates from one region. Others will scream that it's a scam because their local branch knows nothing. This volatility of information is by design and will be the ultimate test. The worldwide rate sync means the rate itself will be uniform, but its activation across over 200 countries and thousands of financial institutions will have a staggered, wave-like propagation. The first confirmed rates will likely appear on elite private banking platforms and major international forex trading terminals like Bloomberg and Reuters FX, possibly for institutional clients only at first. This is the soft launch to ensure stability. Then, it will cascade down to major correspondent banks, then to national banks, and finally to your local branch or online portal. This process could take hours, or it could stretch over a couple of days. Your mental fortitude during this window is your most valuable asset. You must have your trusted sources, maybe 2 or 3, no more, and you must ignore the noise. The temptation to act on every new piece of information will be immense. Remember, the entire system is built to handle this in an orderly fashion. Your panic is the only thing that can create disorder for you personally. Now, let's talk about the aftermath, because the revaluation is not the finish line. It is the starting gun for a much more complex race. The moment your currency is converted, you cease to be a speculator and instantly become a high net worth individual in the eyes of the financial system and, more importantly, the tax authorities. The financial landscape you step into will be alien. The advice you receive for holding a currency is worthless for managing a sudden, substantial liquid wealth. Your first call should not be to a luxury car dealer. It should be to a team consisting of a fee-only fiduciary financial advisor, a top-tier tax attorney specializing in international windfalls, and possibly a trust and estate planner. This is not an expense. It is the most critical investment you will make. Their job will be to construct a liability shield around your new capital, using instruments like irrevocable trusts, private family foundations, and strategically diversified portfolios to protect it from predators, lawsuits, and yes, from your own inexperience. You must think in terms of legacy and sustainability, not just consumption. Furthermore, understand that this reset is a geopolitical tool. A stronger Iraq and Vietnam means new axes of economic influence. Investment opportunities will explode in those regions, in infrastructure, agriculture, technology, and real estate, but they will be minefields for the uninformed. This wealth is a tool to build, not just to spend. And this is why my final, urgent call to action for you today is this: do not wait another second. If you have not physically secured your currency, do it now. If you have not had a preliminary, discreet consultation with a financial professional to outline a basic plan, begin that search today with extreme discretion. If you are relying on forums for your final decision-making, stop. Designate your information channels and shut out the rest. The historic hours are here, and they demand historic calmness and preparation. Your journey started with patience. It will end with poised, precise execution. The world is about to witness a monetary recalibration, and you have a front row seat. But I need you to be more than a spectator. I need you to be a prepared, disciplined, and strategic participant. The sync has started. The phase is in motion. Your move must be calculated, not emotional. Stay alert, stay rational, and stay ready. This is not the time to doubt. This is the time to complete your preparation with a cold, clear focus. The window is open. Your future is on the other side. Now, go and secure it.